Measure 90 would usher in a new era of how Oregonians vote. If passed, it would allow independent and non-affiliated voters to cast a ballot in the primary. NBC5's Roma Villavicencio sat down with a political analyst to learn more about the implications. Roma?
Natalie, according to the Secretary of State's office, 31% of Jackson County voters are independents or non-affiliated. Measure 90 gives those voters a bigger say during a primary, but analysts tell me there could be some underlying consequences. Jackson County residents dropping off their ballots one by one, but one measure has some people scratching their heads.
It is confusing.
Measure 90. If passed, political analyst John Watt says it could change the way primary elections are run.
31% of the people who are registered voters don't get to participate in the primary election. This would allow them to do so.
Right now, only Republicans and Democrats can vote in the primary election. If passed, Measure 90 would allow all voters, including independent and non-affiliated voters, to vote for all the candidates, regardless of political party.
What it would result in, ultimately, are the top two vote getters, regardless of their party, would go on then to the general election.
Meaning 2 Democrats or 2 Republicans could be the only contenders in the general election. It could also change the independent separate primary election.
So if it all is decided in May, then they no longer get to have those nominating conventions, and it virtually makes their parties illegal.
Some voters say things need to stay the way they are.
Preferred that if we're saying we have a two-party system, that the two parties in the primary part remain separate, and then they only come up against each other in the main election.
While others say Measure 90 is what America is about.
Everybody's vote must count. Otherwise, what's the point of voting unless you're affiliated with Republicans or Democrats?
Now it's in the hands of voters to decide how Oregon will vote in the years to come. In 2008, Oregon voters defeated a similar measure, Measure 65, also known as the Top 2 measure. Live in the studio, Roma Villavicencio, NBC5 News.